A very good morning to all of you, my dear brothers and sisters. This is Subhendu Chaudhary from India, and today I have chosen such a subject which is very close to us, and that is war. The relationship between human being and war, and the reason thereof. To understand this one, I will take you to certain truths which might have not been revealed or you perhaps have not come across. And therefore, before I start with this subject, this topic, if you are new to this channel, please do subscribe, because this is an important factor and we as human being has to understand this. So, as you all know that since the civilizations started in this universe, in this earth, we have come across many wars, battles, bloodshed, killings. And even in this modern civilization also, even if we have developed so much in science and technology, yet this so-called war still exists. And you are well acquainted that this consequence of war is nothing but pain, sorrow, unhappiness of the people around the world. So, we have to understand what this actual war is. In our Indian education system, in the ancient, from the very Vedic eras, truths related to the human civilization, human beings, is imparted through knowledge, through our great sages called the Rishis, who are the scientists, researchers in every field. But as you all know, those days, this Indian education system, the so-called the Gurukul system, Guru means the teacher, and the students acquire knowledge from Gurukuls. But due to the invaders, inventions, and conquerors of this great land of Bharatvarsh, our education system was tarnished. It was stopped. As you might have come across in the history of Indian civilization, the golden days of Indian medieval era, the primitive era, there was no poverty. People were educated enough to get their earnings as well as self-understanding. Not only this geographic knowledge, but the spiritual knowledge in the same level. But due to the invaders with their vested interests, this land was stopped with those valuable education system. And as you all know, the British curriculum, that is English education system, was imposed, and the subjects we have gone through is actually not complete. It is only limited, but there is vast knowledge beyond those subjects also that has not been revealed, that has not been imparted, since it is not in the curriculum. As you know, knowledge has no bounds. So, this is the sacred place, the Bharatvarsh, the ancient, old and the oldest civilization in this world called Bharatvarsh. We are abundantly rich with this actual education that a human being needs, not for earnings, but for also self-contentment, for liberation. And therefore, the invasion periods for centuries, it was no doubt brought some changes, imposed upon our education system, Indian society, but that did not last, because truth is unstoppable, knowledge is unstoppable. Even if this English education continued till today also, but our actual source of the knowledge, that is the Vedas, Upanishads, the Ramayana and Mahabharata epics, and the last not the least, the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So, through which, since creation, God has explained very well to the human being the duties of the human being and the knowledges that required by a human being after taking birth to this land, not only for this Bharatvarsh, but for all human beings across the world. Otherwise, no one can be complete. And therefore, these sources of knowledge, even if it is not in the school curriculum, yet it is already there as reserves in our books and epics, sacred, valuable books, as I mentioned, which is available in all sects of life in this Bharatvarsha, so called the Sanatan civilization. The civilization which existed earlier also exists today and will exist tomorrow also. Here the meaning is something different, but I will go to the depth in the later stage. So, in the Gurukul system, there were more than 52 subjects which were taught, that is necessary, from science, chemistry, physics, biology, and many more fields that is required, that is exist in this nature, in this earth, that is required to be known. And in parallel with it, the spiritual knowledge too, which is more important, because this earthly knowledge, knowledge about the earth and science, it will only give you invention and discoveries, and it will give you earnings, but earnings cannot make a person complete, and therefore he has to know himself. To know this soul, one has to know the self, the solid body first. So, to understand these relationships between the human being and war, one has to understand not the outside world war, because of course it has erupted from the human being only, the outside war. But before it erupted to the outside world, this war already started, already it was there within ourselves, a war within. So, this war within, and which is the repercussion of the war outside, we have to understand this, the war within. And therefore, this war within is between two major factors, as it is stated in Sanskrit and in all Persian words. It is between the Daiva and Asura, the divine and the demon, the good and the evil. The conflict is between the good and the evil. It already exists in every human being. What is this? This good and the bad. In simple language, you will understand the good things and the bad things. Let me tell you from the verses of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna spelt it, told Arjuna in chapter 16, where it is. And the truth is, what is this distinction between the divine and the demonic attributes? The divine factors, just hear the things. It is the non-injury, truthfulness, absence of anger, self-sacrifice, tranquility, freedom from slander, kindness to beings, non-contentiousness, gentleness, modesty, absence of fickleness, boldness, forgiveness, fortitude, purity, absence of hatred, absence of conceit. One who is born of this attribute is divine. And the opposite, that is ostentation. I am now telling about the asura factors, that is the demonic factors, that is ostentation, arrogance, self-conceit, anger, rudeness and ignorance. These all belong to the demonic wealth. Now, dear friends, these are the two major sides. Let us be clear that this divine wealth, as I mentioned, is deemed to lead to liberation, and the demonic attribute, it will lead to bondage, attachment between what I have mentioned, those things, factors. There the conflict arises between one another. So, any of the factor of these, the demonic qualities, will lead to war. So, war is already within us. It is we to choose it, the good and the bad. If the good is increased, bad will be suppressed. How to defeat the demonic attributes? Increase your good attributes, the divine attributes. That will only lead to liberation, at the same time avoiding this war, conquering this war and the defeat of the war. But as I mentioned, both of these attributes, the divine and the demonic, both dwells within us, within this body. Both are correlated. It exists in human body, in our mind. Body is the shelter. To understand its further consequences, we have to understand the shelter first. As I have said, the body is the shelter, so we need to understand our body first. What this human body comprises of. Because this human body is the medium through which we also acquire liberation. So, it's very a bigger science, and very interesting too. Because truth is always interesting, because once truth is revealed, we understand. We understand, we feel, then we decide. This is the interesting part of our Sanatan education. You study it, understand it, decide yourselves. There is no imposition. You choose, either you choose good or bad. God has clearly given this. God is pure, as you know, as all of us know. It don't take sides, because what we do, that is karma. And definitely the karma will give its results, the consequences. And as we work, as we do anything, it will definitely give the results. And therefore, it is we human beings, we are responsible for our karma, we are deeds. As is said in the Bible also, New Testament, as we sow, so we reap. So, God has no hands on it. God has, of course, given everything. It is we, human being, to choose. And therefore, in the next episode, we will discuss this solid body, the shelter of this, the evil factors, the demonic factors, the demonic attributes, as well as the divine. Thank you very much for being with me to listen to this, what I acquired from the studies of these books, the sacred books, to reveal the truth only, which is beyond caste, creed, color, religion. Truth is truth, as you all know. It is pure, because God is pure. God has no attachment, but we have lots of attachment. And this, due to this attachment, we are not liberated. We are bound. We are in bondage. And therefore, let us take up the next subject, that is the shelter of all these things, the human body. Let us know it. Actually, what does human body means? And if you like this, revealing the truth on this subject, please do subscribe, share, so that others, the seekers, may know this. This is my objective. Thank you very much.